James is a poor carpenter who lives in the little town of Maplewood. He is a kind guy with powerful hands, refined from years of sculpting wood into exquisite furniture. James has a little daughter named Mandy, who is the light of his life. Despite being born blind, her lively personality remains unaltered. Every day she would listen to the birds sing, feel the warm sun on her face, and envision the world around her in her heart. Despite his intense love for Mandy, James's was sad for her. He wished she could see the beautiful things he crafted with his hands. Above all, he hoped she would be able to see the blossoming flowers, the sparkling stars, and the smiles of her loved ones. Every night, James would kneel beside her bed and pray earnestly, "Dear Lord, if it is your will, please let Mandy see. Nothing is impossible for you." One day, James experienced a spiritual awakening after years of devotion. He put his faith in God's ability to perform the impossible and resolved to fast and pray even more fervently. James prayed and fasted for 7 days, pleading with God to heal his daughter. Mandy would sit silently for days, listening to the sound of her father's voice. She had no idea why he was fasting, but she felt his profound belief in God. Even though she was blind, Mandy never gave up hope. From a young age, her father instilled in her the belief that God was kind and had a plan for her. A miracle occurred on the 7th day. A soft breeze blew through the window as James prayed in the crack of dawn. At that moment, Mandy, who had been seated close to her father, let out a surprised scream. She cried out, "Father!" in a voice that was shaking with excitement. "I see, I see!" James opened his eyes and gazed at her with disbelief. Tears flowed down his cheeks as he saw Mandy blink and glance around the room for the first time. She admired the wooden frames of their modest home, the simple but elegant furniture that her father had crafted, and, most of all, the expressions on his face. "Father, is this you?" Mandy inquired as she softly touched his face. "I can see you." James was so filled with excitement that he could barely talk. Together, he and his daughter knelt in prayer, praising God for the miracle they witnessed. He held her warmly. James realized at that same moment that his daughter had been cured not by his labor or fasting, but by the immense power and grace of God. God had answered his test of faith in a manner that no one else could have imagined. Mandy's story soon traveled across the village. People were amazed at how a modest carpenter's faith had moved mountains. It was more than simply a story of healing. It was about the power of believing in God, even when things looked impossible to achieve. James would frequently remind Mandy, "Remember, my child, God is always with us, and with faith, all things are possible." This served as a reminder to the residents of the little community that God is constantly at work in the background, accomplishing miracles in the hearts of those who believe in Him. Moral of the lesson: we are taught by the story of the humble carpenter and his impaired daughter that miracles can result from unwavering faith. When we put our trust in God and let Him handle our problems, He has the potential to change our lives in ways we can't even begin to fathom.